I love you.
I love you more.
You look sad.
I'm not sad at all.
I'm really late doing my video today. Go figure. I'm always late doing my video.
That should be my video now. Did you hear it?
Yes.
I was a little late getting to mine too, so.
What did I do today?
Hung out with me.
I feel like I didn't really do anything today. I got up and yeah, we just kind of hung out all day. We had a really chill day. Tomorrow, well, technically today is Father's Day. Father's Day. But honestly, it's like, it's not the kind of thing where it's like, oh, it's Father's Day, so now I'm gonna be a good wife and take care of my husband. I mean, we do this stuff all the time anyway. But, you know, it's technically Father's Day. So, even though I'm always with him, I'm gonna be with this one today. And whatever he wants to do, and I know he's probably gonna be like, oh, baby, everything's fine. But I'm going to try my best to get him to tell me what he wants today. But more than likely, he's just gonna want to be up under me, and I'm gonna say, hey, what do you want to do? I'm doing what I want to do. I'm right here with you. Blah, 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 blah. Look at me being all super sweet. So, yeah, I don't really have anything to report today. Like, nothing profound happened. Oh, I will say, last night, I was, like, just up for no reason online. And I ended up looking up my dad. I don't know if I ever mentioned it before on here, but my dad's in prison.
I'm sure we've made fun of it at some point.
Maybe. I don't remember. Which is a really weird thing for me because, you know, my dad has never, like, had trouble with the law. He's never been, like, in prison or in jail or anything like that. He wasn't the best father. Like, we didn't have a very close relationship, but he was never, like, in trouble with the law. You know, he always had a good job and all that stuff. But he's in prison for child abuse, which is really interesting. I guess he got into it with his stepson, who at the time was like 16 or 17, and it just didn't go. I still don't know all the details about it, but he's in prison for it for 3 years. So I think he's got like another 2 years. He gets out in 2018. But anyway.
Wow. Just think of that. It's like, it's the middle of 2016. He won't be out until 2018.
He's already done a year. Over a year at this point. Like,
year and a half.
Year and a half. But anyway, before he went to prison, it was, I want to say the summer of 2014, we had a really bad argument. It was pretty much about my choice to get married. You know, kind of similar to the argument I had with my mom. I don't know why my parents have such an issue with this. I mean, it's like a part of me kind of understands, but at the same time, it's like I'm an adult now. You know, it's like I'm not, you know, like 17 and, you know, I ran off with some guy. It's like we've been married for like over 3 years now. Like, get over it. Anyway, I had an argument.
Years, just like his prison sentence.
But we ended up having a big argument about that, and that turned into my issues with him not being a father, just a bunch of crap.
I have that on video, by the way.
I know you have it on video. It's hard for me to watch. Like, I can't watch it, but I know it exists. I know we have it. Yeah, we had a big argument, and we just stopped talking altogether. And I went probably about like a little over a year without hearing anything from him. I didn't say anything to him or anything, just because there was nothing to say. He made it clear that he didn't agree with my choices and he didn't want to hear from me. And frankly, I didn't want to hear from him either. Now, I'm, you know, I'm a daughter, of course, I want to hear from my father, but, you know, it's like, if you don't accept my choices, I don't really have anything to say to you. So yeah, I went like a year or so, or a little over a year without hearing from him. And right before Thanksgiving, I ended up hearing from my stepmother, his wife, and she told me that she had been talking to my dad and she wanted to get us, you know, back close and talking. And, you know, I was open to it, but I also wasn't excited about the idea because I've had a lot of arguments with my dad over the years, and when it seems like we're having a good relationship, something always happens, and it never works out, you know. So I'm kind of, as I like to think, I'm open-minded but also extremely cautious at this point. So I ended up hearing from him in Thanksgiving, on Thanksgiving, of
2014.
Was it 2014 I heard from him?
Oh, it had to have been.
It was 2014 when I heard from him for Thanksgiving. So this argument must have happened in 2013. Yeah, wow. Geesh. Okay. Yeah, so that happened in 2013, and I heard from him Thanksgiving of 2014. And, you know, he called me and he seemed like he changed and he wanted to have this relationship with me and stuff. And, you know, I was cautious, but I was open minded to it. And then I got a call like 3 days before my birthday in 2015. It was January 13th. And she called and she was crying. I was like, your father went to prison. And just like, what? Like, it was like, what do you mean he went to prison? That was like crazy news to me. And apparently they had been dealing with this child abuse case since I think it was like March or April of 2014. So when he called me, he had already been convicted. They had already been going to court and everything. He just didn't know how long he was going to be gone. So as messed up as it sounds, I just assumed that he called me and wanted to form a relationship with me again because he knew he was going to prison and he didn't want to look bad. And I kind of held on to that for a while. I didn't like, you know, say, oh, well, since you're in prison, I'm not going to talk to you anymore, anything like that. You know, I you know, use my own money to buy stamps to be able to talk to him back and forth on like JPay, like the convict emailing service or whatever. You know, I wrote him letters. You know, he wrote me a few letters and stuff. You know, we had conversations and everything, but in the back of my mind, I felt like that was all just to have somebody back in his corner and, you know, preserve the little bit of I don't know what word to use. I guess preserve this certain idea of him before he went to prison, so he doesn't look like a bad guy. Perception of him. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. And recently, and by recently I mean like the last 2 days or so, I've been I haven't heard from him in a while. We were going back and forth, and that's another thing. My dad is a big debater, and so am I. I really like to debate stuff, and I love, like, one of my biggest things I love to debate and talk about is like religion. Like, I like to hear other people's viewpoints, you know, on religion. I like to talk about my own and everything. And my dad likes to do the same, but my dad is a diehard Christian. Like, you know, he's always been a Christian, but one of those Christians that doesn't necessarily always practice everything that he should in the Bible. But I don't consider myself a Christian anymore. I'm not a religious person. I consider myself to be a spiritual person. So we were basically having conversations about that through letters, and he sent me 2 letters. I think it was like in February or so, and one of them was a more personal letter, Pretty much just telling me about him and his life and stuff. And the other letter was just his viewpoints on, what he believes and everything. And I ended up writing him, I was going to write him 2 letters back, but I wrote him 1 letter back about like my part in the religious debate and my viewpoints and everything. And I never got a chance to write the second letter just because it was a busy time. And I sent him an email, and I never heard back from him. And it's not that I'm mad at him or anything. I'm just not gonna go out of my way to contact him, just because honestly, while I didn't send the second letter, I technically sent him the last message and letter. And I feel like if he gets back to me, he gets back to me. But honestly, after this whole thing happened with my mom, I'm kind of at a point in my life now where I'm not going to go out of my way to contact people who I feel like don't really go out of their way to contact me. I'm not mad at you for not going out of your way to contact me, especially because, he's in prison. But also, I'm not going to stop what I'm doing I'm not going to stress myself out about contacting you. Whether you're in prison, whether you live down the street, live next door, or you live across the country, it doesn't matter to me. If we talk, and if we don't, we don't. It doesn't necessarily mean I'm mad at you. I'm just not going to go out of my way to talk to you because I feel guilty. And I'm not going to feel guilty because he's in prison, because it's not like if we had like this awesome relationship beforehand, then yeah, it'd be messed up of me to suddenly, not go out of my way to contact him just because he's in prison. But we've never had like a good relationship, so I'm not going to feel bad for not going out of my way to contact him every day or every week or even once a month. I haven't talked to him in a few months now, and I'm okay with it. And apparently he's doing okay. Like every blue moon, I'll talk to my stepmother, and she seems, she says that he's doing okay. So I just believe he's doing okay, and I've been dealing with for the last couple of days if I should contact him or not for Father's Day. And I did it last year, and I was thinking about it, and I think I quietly decided to myself I'm not going to. Mostly because it's like, if I decide something, I'm not going to change my own rules because, it's convenient for somebody else, or because it seems like a nice thing to do. It's like, if I make up my mind about something, if I make up my mind about something, I'm going to stick to that. And if I change my mind, there's nothing wrong with changing my mind, but I'm not going to change my mind for a certain event. I'm not going to change my mind for, a special occasion. Yes, it's Father's Day. But just because it is this holiday, I'm not going to go out of my way to contact him to say Happy Father's Day. Because I'm not contacting him. I'm not going to change my mind because of the holiday. It kind of goes with like how I am with my husband. It's like, I try my best to be a good wife. I try to, do all the things that my husband deserves and more. I don't just do it on Father's Day. I do these things every day, all day. So while technically it's Father's Day and I'll acknowledge it's Father's Day, I'm technically still doing all of the things that I would do for him on any other day. And the same goes for, my father. Just because it's Father's Day, I'm not going to suddenly be like this, proactive daughter who's contacting, oh, Dad, I love you so much. You're such a good father. No, because, if I don't really feel that way, I'm not going to just say it because it's Father's Day. So yeah, I guess technically that's what I've been dealing with today. It's not something that it's been on my mind all day or anything, but I was thinking about it hard last night, and I kind of decided, and I mentioned it earlier this evening to my husband, and of course he told me whatever I think is best, but I think that was kind of, I don't want to say lesson for the day, but that was a decision that I made today, and I'm happy with the decision, just because it's another example for myself and another experience where I am able to hold true my decision, and not change it because it might be convenient for somebody else or it might make somebody else feel good. I like to think I'm a person who loves to make other people feel good and, cater to other people. But once I decide that I'm not going to do that for you, or decide you're not worth it, I kind of just stop. And I've been guilty of, changing my mind or doing something that I don't want to do because it's convenient for somebody else, or not wanting to hurt someone's feelings. And after this whole thing with my mom happened, it has helped me to really stop doing that and really focus on Asia and doing what's best for Asia. And learning how to say no. That's been a big thing that I've been learning to deal with. There have been many times where my mom would want me to do something, want me to go somewhere, or something like that, and I won't want to, like, I don't want to do that, but I also don't want to hurt her feelings, or I don't want to say no. And I'm sure one day we'll talk again, and maybe things will be better. I don't know. And if that day comes, I will be in a place where I won't be afraid to say no. And there's nothing wrong with going out of your comfort zone for somebody else, but I was literally at a point where I couldn't say no. I was scared to say no. And I'm glad that I'm so much better with that. I'm not 100%, I'm not perfect, but I'm getting there. I'm getting a lot better with that. I had to do that earlier. Was it earlier this week? I think it was earlier this week. I had I'll say associate contact me, and there was something that she had been wanting to do for a long time, and I was kind of going back and forth if I wanted to do it or not. And I was able to, I had decided a long time ago I didn't want to, but I was kind of going along with it because I didn't want to hurt her feelings. And I was able to just be upfront with her. I was like, hey, look, no, I don't want to. Sorry. And it felt really good. I didn't have to duck and dodge her anymore. And I haven't heard from her. And I probably won't hear from her again. And that's probably for the best, because honestly, every time I would get a message, I would kind of get frustrated. Like, oh, here we go. So these are just little things that have been going on in my life. Not even like super big things, but just little things to help Asia be a better Asia. And I appreciate it, and I'm happy that I'm able to learn from these things. If the day comes where like something big happens, I'll be able to deal with it better, because I've had so much practice in my life with not being afraid to let people go who don't need to be here, or who don't benefit me in any way, or who cause more harm than good. Being able to say no and hold true to what I believe. So, yeah.
So, yeah.
I know. I was trying really hard not to end the video like that, but I had to. It's what I do. This video is 18 minutes long. Good God.